Chile Live channel and me, Irene Lentiggini, we are greeting you finally. I met you so many times alive, and first time I'm honored to interview you, but it's online. Thank you, Gil, that you find time.
Of course, with pleasure. Love it. I love what you do. I love your work. I love your energy. So it's great to serve you and your community.
Thank you so much. So here with us, fantastic expert in Mastermind methodology, business strategist, networking master coach, serious entrepreneur, and a passionate accelerator of people, but first of all, incredible man who is fantastic husband, as I know, and father almost of 3 children that we're gonna discuss a little bit later, I hope. Greetings for that. So, you're doing so many projects, Gail, and actually you used to live in so many countries. You were in Israel, you used to study there, you used to work there, you lived in Singapore, you lived in Moscow, and finally now you have chosen an island. Tell me, please, why your choice is like this? What is about Bali?
So, you know, it's not just Bali. It's the journey that I have gone through that's led me from one place to another in order for me to learn something specific. Every country that I've lived in, I was there with purpose. I didn't fully understand what it was, but today it's a lot more clear to me why I lived in Canada and why England and why Russia and why Singapore. Each one of those countries, each one of those cultures gave me very important lessons of life. And in many cases, they gave me lessons in business. They helped me understand how to be a better man and how to be a stronger human being, not just for myself, but for society around me. Bali was a part of that journey. Bali came in December of last year. Bali was just a vacation for a couple of months with my wife and a couple of awesome kids that we have. And as things developed in the world, we understood that Singapore was not necessarily the best place to be in during COVID time. Singapore is an amazing home. I love this country. It's so good for family. It's so good for setting up businesses. It's such a comfortable place to live in. But during COVID, we thought that for our family, Bali would be better. So we decided to stay here a little bit longer. And throughout the COVID period, we understood that for now, Bali is a better home. So we decided to just find, instead of having a short-term kind of villas, we decided to take a very big home for ourselves and, you know, have my own garden, which I'm very proud of this garden. I've transformed my garden into an edible garden. So I have about 20 plus species of different herbs and leaves and food. I have like 4 different kind of spinaches, just you know, why not? It's a fun thing to do. And Bali is an incredible place for me personally to go through my spiritual enlightenment and my spiritual journey, and to learn to let go, to learn to be a lot more relaxed, to learn to be more in flow. When serving the world, when having so many business activities internationally, it's good to be calm and it's good to be healthy. And Bali, you know, puts me in that state.
I miss Bali so much, but as I know, you didn't lose any time while COVID time. You created so many projects, and one of the biggest projects is Mastermind. So space that you created for people to set up communication. Could you share of that project more?
So, you know, as soon as we got here in December, the first thing I always do is I very, very quickly network with a lot of people to understand who are the few people that I could have as great connections. It's a mistake that a lot of people do when they show up somewhere. They just talk to a few of their friends they have. And very, very quickly, I did 10% people I know, 90% people I don't know, in order to understand who's around. And I saw that there's some opportunities in the market for more charity events, more community gatherings that are more about adding value and activating the collective genius. And we did quite a few of these events. And when COVID hit, I understood that one of my missions that's been to study and teach human networking and how people can have better relationships and better communication. Masterminds have been a big part of that for the last 5 years. So we launched a project called Mastermind Space to be able to give to the people in the world that maybe don't have like big money, because you know masterminds in the world like $10,000-$15,000 and higher even. We decided to give people an opportunity to join masterminds with different people in the world, but entrepreneurs who can also add value to each other and share similar values for a much cheaper price, from $100 to $250, where people could just get amazing value quicker. They can learn how to use the methodology, and then they can create their own masterminds, and they can actually find solutions and opportunities for themselves around their new network of people that we've supported them to build.
But you are not only very good in business relationship, you're fantastic in love relationships, because you're that kind of man I really admire, being a woman who started, men, they're always very afraid to create families, to go into love until they gain their millions. You're that kind of man who was always inspired by your wife, and you always admit that, and it's really an example. Fantastic family. Could you share that experience, how you fell in love, how she became your muse, and she's until now, and she's not only your wife and mother of your children, she's as well your soulmate, she's as well a woman who supports you in any project.
Yeah, so everybody who listens, I hope, will end up not just following me, but following my wife, Katya. You can find her on Instagram. She's much bigger than me on Instagram, and she's like super active, because her message right now is, to some degree, much stronger than mine. She's focused on empowering women who are going through changes. Right now, she's just launched a program for pregnant women to empower them, to show them how amazing that process is, and that stage of your life doesn't have to be challenging or scary. Like in some countries, people scare you when you become pregnant. People scare you when you have a kid. And, Katya is able to put it in a very beautiful way, so people could grow from it. They can have a better life with the kids. Of course, life just becomes more nourishing, and it just flourishes in front of your eyes. We've been together for about 10 years now, a little bit more than 10 years. And we've had a business together for 8 years. While being in business together, we've had multiple projects and multiple companies that we've co-owned and co-driven forward. And it's been an awesome journey, because I think it's doing business and family is not for everyone. It's I don't recommend it to most people, because most people, unless they are able to be calm and patient and understand each other and talk openly to each other and really work on the balance of love and business, I highly recommend not to go into business with family. But if you're willing to constantly work on yourself, you're interested in constantly developing the relationship. We're in the personal development world. We're working with Tonny Robbins and Eckhart Tolle and incredible people, that we've had the opportunity to interact with. And so we're constantly growing, and we both have different mentors as well that are engaging us and helping us to grow. We have teachers in fitness and the way we grow and develop our bodies. We have fitness in the mind and in the soul and the way we challenge ourselves. We have a lot of common passions. We create time for the two of us. Like this morning, we went on a beautiful breakfast in an awesome hotel here in Bali that I believe serves like the best brunches. But I'm not going to throw hotel names into your podcast, don't worry. And we've already decided that tonight we're going to go on another date night. So I think it's important that whenever, if someone who's listening chooses to do business with a family member, a loved one, that you create time for yourselves, for the two people, and then you create time for you as parents with the kids, and then you create time for the business as well. And there's definitely challenges that come along the way. It's important whenever there is a big change in the business, big change in the industry, like, when COVID hit us hard, our whole business, you know, got hit super hard. We're in events, we're in travel. It's been a big part of what we do for the last 10 years. We've had over 1,000 events around the world. And in the last few months, we've had 0 events offline. Well, except here in Bali. Here in Bali, we still have events every single week. Even during COVID, we just kept them very, very small and very kind of invite-only boutique, key people, just for like mastermind dinners, for example. I think it's wonderful to be able to do business in family if you're willing to, if you're really willing to put your heart into it and try to work as equal partners.
My family didn't pass that exam, so I really admire your couple that you did it very well, and you did it on very private and very international way as well, because you're not only doing your project, but you are collaborating for many years with Tonny Robbins. Could you share that experience, please? How did you come into that business? What was your first image, vision, how to do this work? Because you are presented all Eastern Europe. That is a great project.
So Tony came into my life personally 23 years ago when I first bought his CDs. I was living in Toronto. I was 18 years old and I was completely lost in life. And I bought his CDs, but back then I couldn't really afford them. I think they were expensive, like $300 or something. I couldn't really afford them. So I did something very, very naughty. Don't tell anyone. But I bought them, I copied them, and I sent them back and got my money back.
You're a businessman. Business is in your blood.
But the funny thing is, when I was in Tony's home last year, I actually told Tony I did that. And he started laughing and he said, you know what? Out of everyone else who's done that, you are the only one who has paid me back so much more. You know, because we've brought over 10,000 people to Tony's events, mostly Russian-speaking people. That's been kind of our core audiences from different parts of Eastern Europe and some other parts, like Kazakhstan, Georgia. You know, also we've covered quite a lot of other places. We've had Russians in Japan, Russians in Germany. So we had Russians that were all over the world, but because we started this business when I was living in Russia, that became the exclusivity. That became the focus, Russian-speaking people from around the world. And it happened about 8 years ago when I was in a very difficult time financially in my life. And Katya was just starting the Meet Partners business. Initially, 8 years ago, it was a speed dating company, actually, you know. So that was a lot of fun, speed dating, you know. And we were going through a really difficult time financially, mentally, like, what are we doing? What are we doing? A lot of friends around us were like in big corporate jobs, so they had a lot of money and they were going on expensive vacations and the high-end restaurants in Moscow. And we couldn't really afford to do a lot of that. And we understood that something had to change. And it was a very difficult time financially. At one stage, you know, we were living at about $20, like 1,000 rubles a week on average. That was the budget because it was really, really difficult time. Didn't pay for rent for a few months because I just couldn't afford it. I was very much lost in life with all these different businesses, but none of them were really making me money. And I realized that it's because I didn't have the right people around me. I had a lot of people around me. I had like a big network, you know, очень серьезно связи. But I didn't have the right people that I needed around me. And a friend of mine said, listen, go to a Tonny Robbins event. You have amazing people there. There's always people that want to collaborate, want to develop. And, you know, Tony is a good coach. He can, you know, kick your ass a little bit and can help you out. And at the time, it sounded like a very good idea. But, you know, very quickly, I realized that there's no way that I can go because the ticket was like £1,000 for each one of us. The flights, the hotel, Katya needed a visa to get to England. It was a very expensive sort of trip for us to leave Moscow and suddenly go to England. And the event was in the middle of April. It was like a big thing. And I was like, I don't have money to pay for rent. Where do you want me to get thousands of dollars? And I started asking some friends for money, and that didn't really work out. You know, people are like, what? You want me to give you money to go to a Tony Robbins event? Who is that? My friends didn't know who that was. You know, like, what? You want to give me money for training? What? Are you kidding me? Like, you know, like people were saying to me, like, I can give you money, but for like an interesting investment, like an interesting startup. I was like, yeah, you're investing in me. It's a good return on investment. They're like, yeah, come on. So most of the people that were around me, my friends back then, they didn't really believe in this idea of developing myself. You know, like, let me invest in myself. It's a good, you'll get a good return on investment. And through some networking and some connection, we found out through a common friend that they can actually connect us with Tony's production team, and we can become promoters. And if we become promoters, we can actually come for free. So that was already like, whoa, come for free. This is interesting. And then we understood that if we sold 25 tickets, we would make enough money to pay for our flights, to pay for the hotel, to pay for everything we needed to go to London. And it's exactly what we did. I remember that like 2 days before the event, we sold the 25th ticket. It was like really, really last minute. That was a little bit stressful and crazy. And that year we brought 25 people with us. And, you know, we arranged the translation. So there was Russian translation. It was a very special experience. I still have those pictures up in the house of Katya actually sitting on my shoulders. You know, she was sitting on my shoulders and we were jumping up and like feeling our life is going to change. And, you know, since that time, it became clear to us that this is good for the community. It's a really beautiful business to be in. So I let go of a lot of the other businesses I was in. I was like in the mobile app business. I had a restaurant, a juice bar. I had a pizza and sushi delivery company. I had an e-commerce company. I was like a serial entrepreneur who was lost. You know, I didn't know what I was doing. I thought it was all cool. And we started focusing on this business. And Katya surprised me one day and she said to me that, hey, I took money that I've been saving to buy a house, which was a secret she kept from me back then. But it was just a new relationship. And she bought 200 tickets for Tony Robbins. And that was a big year for us because we went from 200, then we jumped up. And 3 years later, we brought 1,200 Russians to one event. And it was crazy because 3 months later, this was an event in London. And then there was an event in Singapore. And we brought 1,600 people from more than 50 different regions in the world. Russians flew into Singapore to be together in the Meet Partners community. It's a very, very powerful moment in our life.
So you have chosen very risky, very concrete, and very empowering woman.
Yeah, definitely.
That's fantastic. Well, yeah,
she's risky with me together. We take risks together.
You do very, very well, believe me, guys. It's a pleasure to look at you. But what's going to happen to Tony Robbins events now after COVID time?
So he's, you know, some people doubted him. Some people said, hey, what's going to happen? Tony's not doing events because he had to postpone some events. But very, very quickly he came up with solutions. A month ago, he had his first event online, a virtual event, where he had about 25,000 people on Zoom live with him for 4 days. It was the most incredible event I've ever seen. He invested millions of dollars in this setup, like where he could see everyone in this massive screens all around him. And we experienced the event and we loved it. So it's happening again very, very soon. In September, there's going to be an event. In October, there's going to be an event. And this is an incredible event where I highly recommend people to just, you know, be at home and invite some friends and family members and basically have a party with Tony Robbins in your own home.
Oh, great. So you're doing so many projects, Gil. You're always on the stage when it's possible, not COVID time, of course, but now being in Bali, you're organizing your events because I go there and I know what you're doing actually. And you're represented as well, like with Meet Partners, Tony Robbins. How do you manage And you are already during COVID time, you used it very, very well. Not only you gave birth to Mastermind Space, but as well to an upcoming baby, third one. So you are very successful and man and husband and businessman and coach and writer as well, because you're writing books. So many spheres. What could you recommend to people how to manage their life?
So, first of all, the most important thing I believe people should always do is, see what really motivates you. And if it really, really motivates you and it really inspires you, it means it's going to help you during difficult times. It means it's going to help you get up in the morning, get out of bed. It means when you speak to other people about it, your energy will wake up. Most people hate what they do. So when they speak about what they do, they have no energy. And they have no energy, they speak to someone else, then you're not giving them energy, so they're actually taking energy from them. Because you're either giving energy or you're taking energy. Most people don't know how to be neutral. Being neutral with energy is actually very, very, very difficult. You're either giving energy or you're taking energy at any given time when you're communicating with people. And if you love what you do and you speak with energy because it's fun and it's exciting and you love building and connecting people and doing charity events and bringing people together, then it gives people energy. But if you're so I do accounting and I'm a consultant for this real estate company, and it's COVID time, so it's not very busy right now. And it's the government is not really helping us. And you're sucking people's energy because they have to listen to you. So the first thing is just to kind of sit there and outline, make a list of 5, 10 things. What do I love doing? What drives me forward? What drives me? What motivates me in life? Second thing you should make a list of is, who are the top 10 or 15 people in my life that are helping me to move forward? Because people in your life, they're either co-elevating you, as Keith Ferrazzi wisely said, they co-elevate you, or they potentially, if they don't believe in what you do and they don't believe in your dreams and they don't believe in your crazy wishes, then they're actually pushing you down a little bit. So if you look at the top 15 people who are around you, like this is family members and friends maybe, or colleagues, people who are near you, proximity, they're near you on Zoom, they talk to you and stuff regularly, you spend time with them, just to assess who those people are and to ask yourself about each one of those people. Are they giving me energy or taking my energy away? Do I love talking to them or do I need to talk to them? Are they entrepreneurs like maybe I want to be, or are they all corporate workers? What happened to me 8 years ago, I realized that 90% of all of my colleagues and friends and people that were around me were all corporate leaders, like amazing people, very nice people, but they're all corporate leaders. But that was weird because I wanted to be a successful entrepreneur. And why am I only meeting with corporate leaders? Yeah, they're cool and they're fun and I like partying with them, but I should be hanging out with entrepreneurs. And I made that massive switch very, very clearly. I remember that day of my life so clear where I made that decision to not go out with them anymore. And I actually stopped being their friend. Not like, hey guys, I don't like you. When they called, they said, I'm busy. Or they called, they said, no, I can't come tonight. I'm doing something else. And they called, they said, no, I'm not going to go on this vacation. I have something else to do. And I just created space, distance between them. And suddenly I had space for other people, for entrepreneurs, people who liked personal development, people who loved what I was doing, people who thought my ideas are great, So that was an important part for me. And when you look at busy people, on the one side, to some people, I'm very, very busy. Yeah. But then I look at other people around me and they're so much busier and they're doing so much more. And so I have 2 kids now and I'm expecting number 3. But some of my friends and mentors, they have 5 kids. Okay. I know someone who's a friend of mine who's got 10 kids. He's got 10 kids and he's younger than me. He's younger than me. I don't understand. I'm 41. He's younger than me because he started very early. And he's got 10 kids and he's got 2 art galleries and he's doing charity and he's doing sport every single day. And I don't know if he's eating that healthy, but he's pretty healthy, 10 kids. Oh my God. So I'm not that busy, so whenever, if someone's listening to this and thinking, oh my God, I'm so busy. I got 2 kids. I got a full-time job, blah, 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 blah. I have more than a full-time job. Yeah. On average, I'll work 15 hours a day. On average. During COVID time, I was working 18 to 20 hours a day, like in the beginning, in the first kind of 2 months, 3 months of COVID, I was at easily 18 hours a day, easily not sleeping. Most times I would just like, I took over, it's funny, but in Ubud here in Bali, I took over a yoga chalet that was right next to my home. And every single morning I would just take a backpack and some food and some snacks. I would head to that yoga chalet and I would be there the whole day on my own. There's no one there doing yoga. I would be there on my own all day from morning to evening. I would go home, take a shower, go to sleep. And sometimes during the day, like my kids would come to the yoga chalet and play with me a little bit. That was kind of daddy's space. But yeah, it was very stressful time because people were saying, you know, we're not going to have any events. We're not going to have this. But I think it's important to just understand that you could choose to be creative and you could choose to ask yourself interesting questions like, you know, if I didn't need money, what would I do? Or if I had a choice to quit my job right now, or if I was fired today, what would I do tomorrow? This is an interesting one. You know, if my business completely died tomorrow, what would I do in a couple of days? You know, would you go on vacation to relax a little bit? Would you pick up some sport meditation to keep your body healthy? Like I'm doing more sports now than I've ever done before, you know, because I want my body to be super strong. I haven't, like, for example, 6 months ago, I was able to pick up my kids, you know, quite easily. But now I'm able to pick up both my kids on both my arms like this and walk a mile with them, no problem.
Over the shoulders, yeah. As always.
Yeah. So I do that now. And it's funny, but they're very, very light for me now, like very light. I can easily hold 3-4 kids like that, no problem. My body is just stronger because I chose to make it stronger. As Tony always says, if you're going through changes in your life, focus on changing your body and the rest will change as well. You know, the rest will follow in a beautiful way. So I don't think I'm that busy because I still have time to relax and watch movies with my wife, and I still have time to chit chat with people. I still have time to do random networking when you take your phone and you scroll down like 3-6 months and you pick 10 people and you write them a message or you leave them a voice message. That's like, it's not random networking, but it's kind of networking that's kind of like anything can kind of happen, because these are people that you haven't spoken to for 3 to 6 months, but like, hey, but I was speaking to them a lot 6 months ago. Why am I not speaking to them now? It's interesting. And you just write them and you write them how you're doing and you write them, you know, I ask them how they're doing. And it's really interesting because in 30 seconds, you can actually say like, you know, 50, 60 words, 30 seconds. And that's fun because people love that and it's personal. So, yeah, I think it's important to just have some things you love and have a really one or multiple missions that are driving you in life, and make sure that you're constantly connecting with you know, good quality people that want you to grow.
Here, especially for you, what does success mean?
So, you know, success has changed its meanings a lot over the years. When I was younger, success to me was having money. And then success meant having a really cool job that got me to wear a suit, and I had a really cool business card. You know, it said something ooh la la on it. And then success meant that I was able to go to like fancy restaurants and fancy nightclubs. You know, if you could do that in Moscow, then, you know, people think you're successful. And then success meant being healthy with my family and, you know, being able to hang out with my kids when I want, and being able to have a house, you know, if I want to have a house, so like my kids have a garden, they have a pool, you guys could see it. So, you know, that success meant that. Tonny Robbins always taught me that to him, and I really liked it, success was being able to do whatever you want, whenever you want, as often as you want, with whomever you want. And I like that very much, but really I think success in the true meaning of an entrepreneur, and I think it was Churchill that said something like this, is success is being able to, you know, fail at something, get back up, and not see it as a failure, but see it as, okay, I learned something new. It made me stronger, made me bigger. Like, wow, what's next? And for me, that today is, you know, a real meaning of success. It's having that time with the family. It's being able to constantly develop myself as a man for my community and, of course, for my family. Being able to provide from my family and my community. Now we're doing a lot of charity work here in Bali. We feed families all the time, and not as many families. Tony feeds a lot of people. Tony is currently feeding, he's giving 500 million meals a year. 500 million, 500 million meals a year he gives. So when I think about how many people I'm feeding, I'm like, well, you know what? It's not comparing, but it's showing he's human, I'm human, but he's 20 years older than me. Okay, that's cool. He's setting some high standards for me. I like that, you know, that's cool. I remember when I met with Tony, I've met with him a few times, and every single time he's always found a way to compliment me in a very beautiful way, letting me know what he sees in me. And I think that's also a very beautiful part of success, is to have very successful people see great value in you.
It's what you are doing to me from time to time when we meet all over the world in different points. Thank you so much for cheering me up, and that belief that you passed to me. I remember everything since first meeting. Thank you so much. But you're always on the stage. You're always surrounded by people who are really very well known all over the world and quite successful as well, and that give motivation, pass that motivation to the other people. There are Brian Tracy, Alan Pease, Kate Ferrazzi, Robert Cialdini, Michael Roach, that is my favorite one, and Jordan Belfort. So tell me please, what these coaches, actually they are your colleagues as well, I could say, what did you take from them?
So, you know, all of, like, I've managed to speak next to some amazing people in the world. Some have become friends. Some have just, maybe I did it one time next to them and that's it. Some I've seen many, 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 many times. And it was really cool that how many times I've been able to see someone like Brian Tracy or Michael Roach, for example, and even Jordan Belfort, I've managed to see a few times on common stages. And to me, what is awesome is, first of all, that I was able to, you know, very quickly grow to a level where I could be next to my mentors. You know, being able to be next to Brian Tracy was a dream for, like, you know, 10, 15 years. It was like, what? Like I never believed in it. But most people would say you would need 10, 15 years to grow to that. But I managed to get on the stage next to Brian within 2 years of choosing to become a professional speaker. And I think, to me, every time I see these people, it reminds me that if you put on the hard work, if you're willing to not give up on yourself, if you're willing to constantly develop, you can life hack a lot in life. You can bypass a lot of the barriers. You don't have to go like everyone else. Everyone has a route, but you don't have to go like everyone else. You can get there faster, maybe, if you have a good community around you. You can get there safer if you have great mentors around you. And what I've learned is all of these people, to me, are not just amazing mentors, but they're people who I can model. The people that if I need ideas, if I need something, I can choose to meditate and get it for myself, or I could choose to go and be inspired by someone else and how they've done it. And I don't see that as me going to copy the way he does things, but I'm modeling one of my mentors, because it's going to be me doing it. So body language on stage, or engaging with the audience on stage, or the way you manage a presentation on stage, or the way you do it all online. Just because COVID came doesn't mean I stopped doing speeches. I'm still doing speeches 3 to 4 times a week. I love it. I'm doing interviews. I'm doing training for big corporations all over the world. I'm doing seminars. I'm doing masterminds online. It's a lot of very, very cool. This morning, I just signed up a massive event that's happening in Singapore in 2 weeks. And it's the biggest event in Asia for professional speakers. So only professional speakers, people who are making, you know, big money, maybe not like Tonny Robbins, but, you know, the mid-level speakers who are doing corporate training, who are doing a lot of things around the world. These are people that I'm currently,
been engaged with, and they asked me to come in and do a special lab for them and talk to them about the power of the collective genius and how to activate the collective genius using mastermind methodologies. So much is now being done online, and I love that because it means that we could still serve the world in such a great, easy way.
Gil, you passed few turbulent periods in your life. How to return back faith in yourself?
That's a really cool question. So I don't know.
But you did it.
I did it because there was no other choice.
Wow, that's responsible.
There's giving up is not a choice. It's like, if I'm climbing up a mountain, which I'm actually doing tomorrow night at 11 o'clock, no, at 10:30, they just changed, 10:30 at night, I'm being picked up. We're gonna drive for about an hour to the highest volcano here in Bali, to Mount Agung, and together with 5 other guys, we're gonna climb up the mountain. It takes about 6 hours, and it's up a volcano that's still, awake. And when you get to the top, it's very, very hot, and there's steam and stuff. But for me, I've climbed quite a few mountains. I'm not a professional climber in any way, but giving up in the middle, even though it's something I would like, oh, guys, that's it. It's too much for me. Let me go. I would not really give up. It's not really, you can kind of say, oh, it's so much, I'm so tired. I can't do it anymore. Okay, let's go. Let's go.
After calls with Tony, I think you can resist that heat.
Yes, but it's this idea, if you're working on a cool project, if you have a business that you believe in, then you don't want to give up on it, right? I think that in some cases, it's okay to decide to put a business in the garage. It's okay to close a business. It's okay. I've done that with quite a few different companies. It's okay. It's very healthy to have successful failures in business, where you choose to put it aside and let it go. You choose to not focus on it anymore. You choose to allocate your energy somewhere else. So for me, whenever there was a challenge in business, and I've had many of them, not just because of the economy, because of business partnerships, because of cash flow, just because of my maybe energy and resourcefulness, the question always comes down to, what are you working on right now? Why do you want to work on this right now? Who's helping you to work on this right now? What are you getting out of it? Is it energy? Is it fame? Is it significance? Is it money? Is it moving you forward? What is it getting you? Ask yourself these questions to make sure you know what human need are you fulfilling by doing this business, and then do something more the next day. Like, I don't get people who are just waiting for COVID to finish. I don't get people who are saying, oh, I'm going to wait until everything is okay again. Or I don't get people who are asking me, Gil, when do you think the economy is going to go back to normal? I'm like, are you kidding me? We're never going back to normal. It's never going to be okay again. You need to now change. Now you need to change. Change your business, change your attitude, change your life, change your clothing, change where you live, change your friends. Go through some really healthy changes. That's how I go through difficult times. Change.
And what could you recommend to people who are completely lost now? After COVID, they lost their maybe families, their values, they don't know what to do, their careers, how to build up new career and to determine your mission in life? Because people
first of all, just sit back and make a list of everything that you're not lost in. You can't be lost in everything in life. That's just being in a really deep black hole. And unless you're like, Nick Vujicic, no arms, no legs.
Yes.
He still does more in one day than most of us do. I know people who are, blind and can't talk and still do more than what most humans do. I know people who are like, people who were completely sick on their deathbed. They were sure they were going to die from cancer, and they still managed to go on a retreat, and they still managed to change their network, and they managed to heal themselves because they understood that as soon as you change some of the people around you, everything else in your life changes. So first of all, I would highly recommend anyone who thinks they're completely lost in life to try to make a list of, what am I grateful for in life right now? Do you still have 2 hands? Are they working? Good. Can you walk? Wow, that's amazing. That's a big thing. Can you see? Can you hear? Can you speak? Do you still have your senses? Can you touch and feel? It means that you have some abilities. Good. And then write down, what are you good at? What do you like doing? And there are so many opportunities right now online. There are more job opportunities now than ever before in the history of humanity, because there are so many companies growing so quickly right now online, and they don't know how quickly to hire. And if you're a businessman or you're an entrepreneur, wow, this is the greatest time to be an entrepreneur, because there are so many problems in the world. There's new problems in the world. Good. Entrepreneurs should fix problems. If you don't see problems around you that you want to fix, you're not an entrepreneur. Go and get a job, please. Not everybody should be an entrepreneur. The worst thing is people who are want-entrepreneurs, but they don't actually step up and do something. If you are a want-entrepreneur and you want to be an entrepreneur, step up and go solve a problem, please. Don't just set up another e-commerce company selling something, or another pizza shop next to another pizza shop. Please solve a problem. Find something that's necessary. And if you don't know what problems to solve, go on Google and type top 100 problems the world has today and start reading. Google has a lot of amazing answers. Top 10 things I could do from home to make money. Yeah. Top 10 things I can ask people in order to get a job from them. Top 10 questions to ask my future boss. Yeah, read this stuff and you'll pick up some really interesting insights how to move your life forward. But the best thing you could do is, if you really, really feel like you're lost, get out of the house and go for a walk.
Great. You see, even like internet, it transferred me into Bali again. I try to find something like with palms and to be bright a little bit, to feel like Bali style. And for conclusion, Gil, I would love to ask you, as a coach, as a big coach, to recommend maybe 3 habits or 3 main points, messages for people, how to feel them alive, how to move on. What you could give 3 main messages to people?
So the first one that is a very important part of my life is, this ability to become stronger in your network, so that you can build a better network around you. People in your network want to support you. They want to, guide you. They want to co-elevate you. So the first thing I say to people is, do an audit in your network and figure out who you need to push aside a little bit. And then, pick up some tips and tricks on how to make some new connections. And there's so much content out there online, how to network. You can check out my content. There's a ridiculous amount of videos on Google, on YouTube for free. I have some amazing programs, how to network at events, or how to follow up with people. Those are paid programs if you guys want. I have some coaching programs where I support entrepreneurs to, expand their business globally, or to pivot their businesses, to really reset the quality of people they have, to attract mentors or investors into their lives. I love working on that with people. So as you're upgrading your network, find 2-3 mentors or a coach to guide you doing that. Number 2, which I think is really as a fun one, review the sort of wishes and goals you have in your life, and focus on the really, really short-term ones. Like, really think in the next 3, 4, 5 months, by the end of January, by the end of the first quarter of 2021, what do I want to have? I don't know, by the 21st of January, 2021, that's cool. Decide, what do you want to have? And try to break down your goals into 3 different categories of consumption. What do you want to consume? What do you want to buy? What do you want to have? You want clothing, suits, TV, car. What do you want to buy? By experience, what do you want to experience? What do you want to try out? You want to travel somewhere new? You want to go on a roller coaster? You want to drive a fast car? You want to go on a helicopter? Experiences you want to have in life? Like, my wife and I, we have experiences to go to really, really nice ooh-la-la restaurants. We love food. We love Michelin star restaurants. Not many people in life would spend $500 or $1,000 on a meal for 2 people. Not many people, they think we're crazy. But that's what we like spending money on. Like, we really, really love good quality food. That's an experience for us. Yeah, it's not just consumption, it's an experience. So consumption, experiences, and the third one is contribution. Again, goals. How do you want to contribute to the world? Work, business, charity, some sort of donations, you becoming a mentor for other people. So that's the second thing, like really, really review your goals. And, you know, don't just say, I want to make $10,000. Like, that's a result of you doing good work. Yeah, that's important. Like, don't worry about money. Money will come to you if you bring great value to the world. And the third one that I would say, I have too many. Which one is the third one? I would say, like, you know, depending on who you are out there, try to see if you could join a new community. Try to see if you could maybe join some sort of an association, a business club, maybe join a foundation, join a charity, join a mastermind group. You could check out mastermind.space if you want to. We can help you find the right group for you. So, you know, find that community to connect into, because that community is bigger than you. So that's like suddenly that community has a mission, they have goals, they have activities. So you could just connect into that community and go in that flow for a little bit, and it might bring you to good places.
Gil, thank you so, so much for sharing with us, for your time, for your contribution into my personal development, for your contribution for the world and for my channel as well as my startup. I do appreciate a lot your support. And I wish you success. I wish you feeling alive, going with the flow with everything what you are doing, and say great hello like this to Katja. I really wish happiness, endless happiness to your family. You are great, both of you, individually and even more together.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the audience for following you and for listening to this. I hope that people take action. If you are listening to this right now and you are taking some action, send me a message either on LinkedIn or on Instagram and tell me you just listened, and tell me what you're going to do the next day. This is the most important thing, because listening to podcasts or videos on YouTube is useless unless you take at least one action and unless you make an effort to try to connect with the person you listen to. So first of all, make a note on the bottom of this video and tell, you know, this beautiful woman, this star of a jewel of a person, that you appreciate her, and you want, tell her who else you want her to interview to support you and to, she's empowering you. And then send me a nice little message. And I hope to see you all soon.
I know that tonight I'm going to write a list of things that I want to have by the end of the year. And I already passed in the period that I shared with you when I understand who are in and who is out of my life, including habits, including people, including things. So thank you so much. You did parallel, as always, coaching, supportive session for me. With lots of love, with lots of faith, and thankfulness to you, to your family. Thank you always, and be chilly. Irene Lentiggini. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.